Now, what does the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation mean to you, as well as the Congress of Aboriginal Peoples as a whole?
Today is a very sad day. We need to remember the children that went to these schools but never returned.
Right, sir. And can you speak a little bit about the residential school system, how it impacted you and the members of your own community itself?
Well, with CAP in our communities, the impact was they took our children away from us. And family within our communities is the most important thing. It gives us that's where we learn our culture, our tradition, as well as it's a gathering for us. And with that, it took a lot away from our families. And a lot of our families are still suffering over this, the ones where the children never come home.
And what does the future of reconciliation in Canada look like for you, sir?
Well, once we get things rolling and the government working, and as well as our own people working toward it, it's a rebuilding of our nation. And we want to have all of our Indigenous people, no matter who they are, is to have a genuine life and don't have to worry about this ever happening again.
All right, sir. So what are some next steps that the Canadian government needs to take in order to reach this particular goal?
Well, one of the big things is the government has to act on the Cap Daniels case, which was handed down today. This year is their 5th anniversary of that. And in that, the Cap Daniels, they really put some emphasis on the government to act on this. And that's the big thing. We got to get the Liberal government to talk to all of the Indigenous people, communities, not just a couple of them. And we really need him to, the Prime Minister, to talk to CAP to see where we can go with this.
All right, sir. And what about the individual Canadians that are watching this interview right now? What kind of steps can they take to aid the process of reconciliation?
Well, what I see is that all the other Canadians, they have to learn. They have to learn about the survivor or the residential schools, when it started and when it ended. Like I believe it was 1998 is when it ended, which is not that far, past us. And unfortunately, it was Mr. Pierre Elliott Trudeau was the last one to start the last 4 schools, residential schools. And if we can study the history, all the other Canadians, all of us, there's some Aboriginal people that don't really know the history neither. So if we all studied that history and find out where things went wrong and why did it go wrong, then hopefully the people will understand, okay, this is a big mistake. Something's got to be done.
Yes, sir. Well, some very important history to learn there, sir. Just about 30 seconds left in this interview. But before we go, tell us a little bit more about the Congress of Aboriginal Peoples, their mission and goals for the future.
The Congress of Aboriginal People, we've been around for 50 years. Actually, this year is our 50th anniversary. And our goal is always to fight for our grassroots people and to make sure they have exactly what they need, the education, housing, and hopefully, again, we need to talk to the Prime Minister. Like he's been in office for 6 years. He's never reached out to us. I've been in office for 1 year. Next week, I'm in 1 year, and he has never reached out to me. I've reached out to him many times, and never once has he reached back out to sit down and see where we want to go. And we just want a better life for all of our Aboriginal people, our grassroots people, and it's not much to ask for.
All right, Chief St. Pierre, we really appreciate you joining us on Forum Daily and sharing your message.